Carl, tell me about some of the conversations you're having with clients at the moment.
The conversations I'm having with clients have been unlike conversations I've ever had before. I mean, I've been a professional services advisor, an advisor to business and in financial advisory space for 35 years, primarily in the distress space. So I've dealt with financially distressed businesses. And inevitably or always, you know why it's distress. It's a bad debt or consumer demand has gone away or a fraud has happened. This environment's quite different because of the uncertainty that's been caused by COVID. And I think there is a lot of frightened people out there because what they can't do is predict what's going to happen in 3, 4, 5 months because we don't know how long this horrible disease is going to be with us for. And certainly those sectors that we're advising more regularly in retail, food and beverage, hospitality, events, consumer demand for their product is so unstable. So it's extremely difficult for them to predict with any certainty what their business is going to look like in the next 4, 5, 6 months.
And obviously confidence is very low, but I guess among those conversations and clients that you're talking to, there are reasons to be cheerful. There are some companies that do see opportunity in all of this.
Absolutely. I think for those well-managed, strong balance sheet businesses that are holding cash, that are able to withstand current uncertainty and downturn demand, I think we'll be looking for opportunities come springtime, summertime next year to capitalise, sadly, on those businesses that have fallen by the wayside. Even in those distressed sectors, there'll be strongish companies performed well previously who'll be biding their time and will undoubtedly be looking for possible acquisitions. So I think there's always an opportunity. I mean, there are other sectors who have performed well in this uncertainty.
Do you find that people are sticking with the strategy they've had for the last few years, or are they coming up with something new?
What's come through to me in the conversations I've had with entrepreneurs is that they are, for the time being, forgetting to an extent about their longer term strategy and focusing much more, rightly so in my opinion, on the short term strategy. The old adage, look after the pennies and the pounds will look after themselves. I think there's never a better time to actually practice that adage. I think right here, right now, keep things tight. Manage your business even more closely than what you were doing 6, 9, 12 months ago. People talk about what's the point in doing forecasts because we don't know what's going to happen in 6 months' time. I would say look at your forecasts for the next 3 or 4 weeks and keep on looking at your forecasts. Manage your costs as best you can. Be very much on top of your business.
We should talk about tax. Of course, Rishi Sunak's been very generous. He's invested in the UK economy and companies that need help, but this all needs paying for at some point. How do you see that playing out? Because we could have tax rises coming as soon as next spring, things that could come into effect from the next tax year.
We all sit in our armchairs and watch the TV and wonder what Rishi's going to come up with next. I think we're all anticipating or expecting a rise in certain taxes this autumn. Of course, that's been abandoned now and pushed back until the spring. I think he needs to be very careful that any specific tax rises don't actually have an immediate impact upon spending, because he needs people to get out and spend, whether it's retail, whether it's buying or capital expenditure, etc., etc. So I think there are certain taxes I think he will look at and think, right, okay, well, I can actually raise the tax. It's not going to have any impact, a massive impact upon the UK economy. The classic one is capital gains tax. There's been talk for a year or two about the evening out of capital gains tax and make it more similar or comparable to income tax. So I think my expectation would be is that there is a risk, if I can say that capital gains tax will go up in the spring, and that will have an impact undoubtedly on those profitable SME businesses, individuals who are possibly looking to sell their business over the next 2 or 3 years. Should they actually take the gamble and go for a sale now ahead of any capital gains tax rise, or gamble and hope that he doesn't increase the tax?
He has to raise something somewhere. I mean, CGT is very much the entrepreneur's tax in some ways, the investor's tax, and I suppose the way you talk, there's an inevitability about it, but it does seem to disincentivise people who are building businesses.
It does, and that is the reason why he may not. The government have not got a bottomless pit of cash. They can't keep on funding the UK economy forever and a day. There needs to be a gradual scale down in the support they're giving the UK economy. My own gut feel is that there's a bit more in the tank, and that actually talked about an extension beyond Christmas going into the spring. It wouldn't surprise me that he will, or the government will, continue to support businesses well into 2021. Someone's got to pay for it sometime, and whilst I agree with you that increasing capital gains tax would inevitably have an impact upon an entrepreneur's appetite to continue to grow and to sell, the government have got to find the money from somewhere. And that feels to me like the one tax where they could increase the rate to claw back some of the money that they've actually been spending on the UK economy over the last 6 months.
So can you pull all this together, Carl? We've talked about quite a lot. Quantuma now is talking about financial fortitude, this idea that clients need to grit their teeth, grind out results at this very difficult time, and look for opportunities where they present them.
Fortitude is a great word, and it covers a number of descriptions. It covers bravery, the need to be brave in a very difficult trading environment for the entrepreneur, the SME business person. The need to be honest. I think fortitude includes the word risk taker, because I think the entrepreneur needs to stand up and actually be prepared to take the odd risk to trade out of this position. And I think fortitude, it should include the word careful. I think gone are the days where a rich business person can afford to take the foot off the pedal and not to be completely on the spot in terms of actually looking at their business, in terms of how it's trading, beyond the case every single day, monitoring performance, watching margins, managing cash extremely carefully. To my mind, it's all about the here and now, as opposed to looking at necessarily the longer term strategy. That'll come back, but actually the here and now for a number of business sectors, thousands of SME businesses actually managing their business extremely carefully over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months to take advice as appropriate. And of course, yes, I would say take advice from us and our financial advisory experience. We've advised hundreds, thousands of businesses over the last 15, 20, 25 years. And whilst COVID is new to us, the techniques and the tools that we've used to assist businesses in terms of turnaround, restructuring, I think can be very helpful to the SME world that we're advising.
Carl, thank you.
Thank you.